Atomfall, the newest project by Sniper Elite developers Rebellion, is shaping up to be a very interesting game, thanks to its unique approach to story, open-ended exploration, and of course the incredibly unique setting. So I'll tell you everything you need to know about the game. Thanks to Rebellion for sponsoring this video. Totally check the game out if it sounds interesting to you via the special link in the video description. That really helps the channel out as well. And Atomfall starts off strong with a very interesting concept. You awake with no memory of your past, trapped in the British Winskill quarantine zone. The year is 1962, 5 years after the horrible fires at the Winskill nuclear reactor. And while the quarantine and everything that happens inside is fictional, that nuclear disaster did really happen. So it's an alternate take on history where you are sent to investigate the different mysteries and factions that have made a living inside this quarantine zone. The only clue you have is a note leading you to a place called the Interchange, which apparently leads to the secrets buried beneath the reactor, but that's all you have to go with when you start. And that actually leads into one of Atomfall's most interesting features, as there is no traditional main quest. Sure, you will meet people and some will want your help, like the scientist giving you a note that points you towards the Interchange, but there is no traditional quest log, no main or side quest, and no XP reward for turning in an objective. There is character progression though, we'll get to that in a bit, but what you do get by helping people is information, often in the form of written notes or logs so you can check them back later in your inventory. These will teach you more about Winskill and its different factions, but they will also lead to more mysteries for you to investigate, which in turn will of course reward you with more clues about what's going on. Many stories are also interconnected, so sometimes you'll uncover new clues for one story while visiting a specific location investigating a different lead. This leads to an incredibly open-ended campaign, so open-ended in fact that the developers claim that even if you kill every NPC, there are still enough clues to discover for you to unravel the events of the Winskill quarantine zone. And that setup makes meeting new people especially exciting, as you have no idea what new information they might have to offer you. That being said, not everyone is willing to talk to you, as living in a quarantine zone means that bandits and even pagan cults have gained a foothold, and they will likely attack you on sight. You'll have a wide variety of weapons and tools at your disposal to defend yourself, although resources are scarce, so you want to pick your battles carefully. This is especially true for firearms, because while revolvers, rifles and shotguns are very powerful, ammo for them is a rare resource and they also make a lot of noise, potentially attracting the attention of other enemies. So you'll often have to rely on your arsenal of melee weapons like shivs and cricket bats, but you can use the butt of a rifle or pistol to smack someone as well, or use your legs to kick them away from you. There are also craftable items like Molotov cocktails or chem bombs, and stealth is an option too, as you can sneak through high grass and take out enemies from behind. Enemies will react dynamically to what you do, so if you hold one at gunpoint before combat breaks out, they will hold up their hands and try to disengage, giving you precious few seconds to formulate your battle plan or your escape, depending on how much backup they have. In order to improve your chances of success, you'll want to scavenge for supplies, which is where Atomfall's survival mechanics come into play. To be clear, Atomfall is not a full-on survival game. There's no base building and you don't need to drink or eat to keep your appetite sated. You are simply expected to do a lot of looting and exploring, since resources are scarce, so you'll need every tool at your disposal to survive. Food and drink are still in the game, but they mainly function as a way to restore health, with certain foods giving extra buffs on top as well. For other resources, you can simply find these in the many abandoned locations you'll find in the zone, but you're also able to get yourself a metal detector to hunt for buried caches, which next to useful items can also contain buried clues that help you further in the story. The detector will ping when an item is nearby, so you'll know when you need to pull it out and pinpoint the location of a buried object. Many objects can also be traded for with other people, and here Atomfall introduces another interesting concept, or rather a lack thereof. There is no money in this game, as it has lost all value inside the quarantine zone. So instead, people are back to old-fashioned trading, meaning that every item in your inventory is valuable in some way when bartering with someone else. You'll see these skills in the vendor menu, which depicts the value of the items you are offering for trade. Once the skills are balanced and the arrow is in the green, you can strike a deal and exchange goods or information, as traders can also offer you valuable clues to help you continue the story. And by the way, if you enjoyed the video so far, it would be awesome if you could leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. In general, interacting with characters in Atomfall seems very interesting, as you can pick various dialogue options that also list the spirit of the response, like curious or suspicious for example. Certain people respond better to certain kinds of responses, so if you want information from someone, you have to take into account the type of person you are talking to. The fact that many people also have an allegiance to one of the factions in the quarantine zone makes things even more interesting, as many interactions can improve or decrease your standing with an entire group. So handing in the town baker to the militia who try and keep the peace might be a quick way to earn their favor, but you can also investigate her claims and find out that she didn't really do anything wrong. Vice versa, sometimes an enemy can turn into an unexpected friend, as there is an NPC that can help you get closer with the pagan cult as well, so they no longer attack you on sight. Some actions, like killing an NPC, can even lock you out of a line of investigation, so every choice you make seems to have a major impact on what parts of the story you will discover. And speaking of discovery, there should be many interesting landmarks for you to uncover in Atomfall. You can stumble upon an abandoned bunker or research station that, next to loot and clues, often also contains the zombie-like ferals that have undergone some form of strange mutation. These will try to overwhelm you in groups, but they are not the only natural hazard you have to worry about. Swarms of poisonous rats and blood-sucking leeches in shallow waters will pose a threat too, and even some corpses have been infected, causing them to explode in a dangerous puff of spores when you get too close. Man-made traps like minefields or alarms can ruin your day as well, and each of the game's major factions also has a stronghold in the area, which is heavily guarded but contains a ton of useful materials and items. Some of these materials can even be used to improve existing weapons, so for example, you can upgrade your rifle from rusty to stock to pristine quality, increasing its performance every step of the way. Even more useful are training stimulants and manuals, which when combined allow you to learn new abilities. There are 4 main trees to pick from, one for melee combat, one for ranged, one for survival, and one for conditioning. Most individual skills make you better at things, such as making you search bodies and containers faster, but some also add new effects, such as impaling an enemy on a lethal hit with a thrown-bladed weapon. So while you can make yourself stronger, Atomfall also offers a lot of customization when it comes to the game's difficulty. The 3 pillars of gameplay, combat, survival, and exploration, each have their own difficulty setting. So you can make the combat super challenging, but give yourself more resources and easier bartering by lowering the survival difficulty. If you like the mystery solving nature of the game, turn exploration to intense to remove the compass, or do the opposite and set it to assisted so you'll receive waypoint markers for leads and interesting locations. And while the gameplay features many interesting twists and concepts, I'm still mostly fascinated by the world Rebellion are building here. Especially the mysterious red phone booths and the unknown caller has me really intrigued, as do the robots from the British Atomic Research Division that still roam the area. Remember to check out the game via the special link in the video description if you're interested. It's coming out on March 27th on Game Pass, Xbox X and S, One, PlayStation 4 and 5, and on PC via both Steam and the Epic Games Store. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and you can watch more of our content by clicking on the screen. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.